welcome to Wellness
Wednesday. Yeah, hi everybody.
With Wendy Bree.
With Wendy. Yeah.
WWW.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, that's so great.
That's what my
This is
radio
great.
show was for WWW.
Really?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
Wellness
that's so
Wednesdays
great.
with Wendy.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's a
it's fun.
podcast.
Well,
You
you'll
gotta do
have
that.
to bring
You
it
gotta do it. We'll
back.
talk more.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Thanks everybody
That's
for
what
joining
that
us.
was.
This is way cool. We've got a lot of different things going on here today. We're going to kind of deviate. Hi, thanks for joining us from our normal Wellness Wednesday, kind of a topic of the week, discussion of concerns and things like that. And we're going to introduce everybody to Mrs. Wendy Bren. She's visiting here from Midland, Michigan. She's going to the grand reopening.
Yes, that's right.
Vibrant Health Nutrition Center in Midland, Michigan, and we're so happy that her and they're visiting from there to spend the week with us for your
Yes.
mentorship program, and so wow,
Yeah.
middle of day 3 and it's been a whirlwind.
Oh
Wouldn't you
my
say?
gosh. Yeah, whirlwind is the perfect way to describe it, even with the wind outside.
It's very fitting, very fitting.
It's great.
And simultaneously, while we're broadcasting on your Facebook page, our
Yes.
Facebook page, and we're recording for Total Wellness Radio. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please go to iTunes and look us up, Total Wellness Radio, and get subscribed. There's wonderful
Oh, yes.
interviews
You'll be
on
glad
there
you
with
did.
practitioners from around the world, including now today this one. So, let's just kind of dive right into it. One of the things that I always love to record for people to listen to is most practitioners, I mean almost every practitioner you've ever talked to has a backstory. They have some experience that something took place or happened to them personally, or a loved one, or they saw something happen with a grandparent. Something took place that kind of shifted their focus and their energy into a more like a natural, holistic approach to taking care of
Yes.
themselves and their family. And so I'd like you to take a few minutes and kind of share some of your backstory.
Great. I would love to do that. And it's exactly that way. It was actually my health and my whole family's health was kind of teetering on the edge of not good at all. And I had been diagnosed with skin cancer and what they called back then fibrocystic breast disease. And our children were they had a lot of allergies, and our youngest daughter had been sick for 6 years after I stopped nursing her. And then we put her on, the food that the doctors told us to. We just basically followed what they suggested, and she started getting sick, and we just didn't understand it for so many years. And so we struggled for almost 10 years in trying to figure out all of those things through medical routes, and we went to expert after expert and yet another expert, spending thousands of dollars and getting the answers of, well, everything looks great, your tests are good. And the last time that we went to an emergency medical hospital, which is also a teaching hospital in Michigan, they said, we pretty much think we've deduced that it's all in her head.
Oh.
And I thought, there's no way. So we actually did follow their instructions, and we went to a family counselor. And the family counselor said on the second visit, okay, I just have one question. Why are you guys here? And we said, because the doctors told us we should be. And he said, you don't need to be here. It's not in her head. And so we kept going on our journey to find healing. And I actually was able to get some information that led me to a seminar. And then the 4th day of the seminar, which was actually at Tony Robbins, UPW, Unleash the Power Within, was all about health and wellness. And he gave me a 10-day challenge and said, cut out the whites, so the flours, sugar, salts, processed foods also, and try just lots of vegetables and meats and grains and nuts and seeds kind of thing for 10 days. Just 10 days, see how it works for you. And we did that, and after those 10 days, our family was originally on 7 medications. After those 10 days, we got off of 6 meds and 7 soon after, because of those 10 days of the diet change. And we lost a combined total of 27 pounds in 10 days.
Wow.
Our energy
So amazing.
skyrocketed.
Yep.
We were flabbergasted. We're like, who knew you could have this much energy
Yeah.
eating rabbit food? Because that's what we thought. We're not going to be able to eat anything. We just have to eat rabbit food for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
But it turns out from all of the last 20 years, that there's more good food, if you look for it, that tastes way better and is healthy and gives you energy rather than steals it,
Yep.
than there is of this small group of food that is the standard American diet.
Yep.
And so we were just like, what? Like, why didn't they tell
Mind
us this?
blown, right?
Why
Yeah.
didn't they tell us this?
Yeah.
And so, it was mind-boggling for us that
Yeah.
was even an option or a possibility.
And in 10 days.
In 10 days,
Yeah.
7 medications.
I'm so glad you
eradicated.
mentioned this because
And we work
people
with our
need to understand
doctors,
it.
by the way.
Sure. I mean,
Yes.
you understand the quality of fuel is a quality of performance. If your body
Yes.
can't perform, it doesn't have a drug deficiency. It has a fuel deficiency
Yes.
that allows it to perform. And those, so modern medicine, and it's like backwards dark age thinking,
Mm-hmm.
says, oh, you must have a drug deficiency to make up for it.
Yeah.
And it's like medicate. You didn't start off on 7, right? See, you had to go
No.
from 1 to 2 to 3 to 7.
Yes.
Right? And that's what every family experiences.
Mhm.
And if they would just do exactly what you just said and commit to it, make quality decisions, thoughtful decisions, not perfect decisions, but very thoughtful, consistent decisions
Yes.
on a daily basis about the choices of fuel, look what can happen. And I think,
Amazing.
and that's normal. That's not like a phenomenal, like, that's a normal response.
Yes.
Yeah.
We see it all the time.
Okay, so I'm really curious because you had 10 days, this huge turnaround. How long with your daughter did you work with the doctors doing it their way and her not getting better?
6 years.
6
What?
years.
6 years. She was on 3 medications, and they wanted to start giving her 2 injections a week.
what?
For her allergies.
Oh.
And so I said, no, we're not putting anything else in this child's body. She feels terrible every single day. I don't think that's going to help. And so when we did change it, because and what Tony Robbins said that caught my attention was, if you suffer from allergies, then you might want to try this. And I thought, we're in.
Yep.
Because
Wow.
whether my kids like it or not, or my husband likes it or not, we all have these issues with allergies, and
Yep.
we're going to take advantage of this. And so I made this delicious rabbit food for 10 days, and that's what we called it at first. And now we just call it our meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
No, it's a lifestyle.
it's a
Yeah.
it's a lifestyle
Yeah.
that's given us our life back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so important.
Yeah.
Wow. And how long ago was this now?
Oh gosh, let's see. She was 8, and she's 25 now.
Wow.
So almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
Hmm.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
And you were not at the Tony Robbins event for your daughter. You were there for an entirely different reason and just happened to take away this nugget and go, you know what, let's try this for 10 days and see what happens. It's
Yes.
just adjusting the diet.
Yeah. That's all we did.
That's
Wow,
so cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Now you
thank
know
you, Tony.
why-
If you're out
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm like the biggest Tony
Yeah.
Robbins
Oh,
fan.
yes,
He is
me
one of my
too.
favorites.
I'm a big fan of his mentor.
Jim
Oh, yeah,
Rohn.
Jim
He's
Rohn.
also one of my
I'm
favorites.
I'm a bigger
Yes.
fan of Tony. You did a good job, baby. But
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jim.
How many fruits are you eating each day? 0. That's not a good number.
That's not a good
Yeah.
number at all.
That is
And
Jim
I
Rohn.
still call it rabbit food. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
I will say, because I know a lot of the times when people are transitioning to the more vegetables, it does feel like, oh my gosh, am I really getting what my body needs
Yeah.
because of how society has conditioned us?
Yes.
I always like to kind of think about, have you ever noticed horses, and especially like where we're at, we
Gorillas.
see horses
Yes.
everywhere, right? Gorillas is another good example. But have you ever
Big,
looked at the
strong.
muscle definition
Yep.
on a horse?
Mm-hmm.
The
Absolutely.
muscle
Amazing.
definition on a horse
So
is
amazing.
like so beautiful.
Yep.
They're vegetarians.
They're
Yes.
vegetarians.
They're vegetarians.
Yep.
Yes.
So the whole you don't get protein from vegetables. Well, you do
Yeah.
actually.
You do.
Just take a look at a horse
Yep.
or a gorilla,
100%.
right?
100%.
Yes, absolutely.
It's
And
amazing.
by the way, for my group, I'm not saying that you need to be vegan or vegetarian. All
Correct.
I'm saying is look
Eat
at what
more.
you're putting in your mouth and how much of it. And if
Mhm.
you are not putting a lot of vegetables on your plate, add a few more.
hmm
That's
Would you
that's
say
what I'm
that
saying.
Bernard's 80-20 rule is kind of a good model?
I love that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what we tend to go by as a base,
Mhm.
unless we find other things.
Yes.
So when did this become a career? When did this become like something? Okay, this
Oh.
happened when your daughter was 8. Now you're on
Yes.
this journey, 10 days, amazing transformation.
Immediately.
Okay.
I started.
All in.
I thought,
Everybody needs to know this,
yes,
right?
it was so life changing for me. And I said, to my husband, I said, honey, I think there's other parents who need to know this.
Yeah.
And because in 9 months I was able to get rid of the skin cancer, I was like, and so I just started teaching about the allergy side of things out of my home.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went and got trained in North Carolina with Reverend George Malcolmus from Hallelujah Acres.
Yep.
And then after that, that's when I really started implementing the diet changes, and I did some proper food combining
Yep.
and such.
Yep.
And it made such a huge difference that in 9 months I had no more skin cancer, and in 12 months the fibrocystic breast, what they called disease back then, was gone.
Yeah.
12 months.
Yeah. Because you cleaned up your liver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I thought, wow, if I can heal my body like that, I want to help other people, because we suffered immensely because of it. And not just, in our bodies and our hearts and our spirits, but financially it was tough too.
Yeah.
And so when we decided, or when we started teaching that, more and more people said, I need to know that, and I want to bring friends. And then my house was too small, so my dear neighbors said, I have a bigger kitchen and a bigger house, because I was teaching them how to make foods too.
Wow. That's
And,
so awesome.
And so she said, well, why don't you come over and use my kitchen? So we started teaching out of her house. And then we needed a bigger place, so I opened a wellness center.
Wow.
And there's
Now, there was
so much
there was
more
a
to it.
cafe in that at the time, right? Or like a restaurant?
Not at that time.
Okay.
It evolved into that.
preparing
because
food and
so many of my clients would say, I just don't know what to eat or what to make. So I said, well, I have a brilliant idea. Let's just invest a lot of time and money, even though I'm already doing all of this, and let's open a vegan cafe and juice bar.
Wow.
And so we did. And those of you who were at Veg Out Cafe, you would have loved it. Loved it. I know you still do. And so just be praying about that, because who knows what tomorrow brings.
Yep.
Just a little hint there. And so it was wonderful. And we enjoyed it so much. And I had family working for us, which doesn't usually work. But I guess if you're in a healthy, happy place, maybe it does.
Yeah.
And so it was just fantastic.
That's so cool.
And we were able to help so many people see that healthy food tastes good.
Yes.
Really, really good.
That's the big deal, is that people eat for pleasure, not purpose.
Yes.
And the pleasure is the taste that
Yeah.
you get. We just had a cauliflower crust
It
pizza
was
today.
so
Amazing.
So good.
It's so amazing. And people
So
say
good.
cauliflower crust, because they
Yeah.
think it does not taste that way at all.
And it had cucumbers on it, friends.
Yeah.
Who
Raw
ever thought?
cucumbers on a
Raw
pizza.
cucumbers
and
on
it
it.
I wouldn't
it
have
was,
thought that. But
so
it was
good.
great.
It was really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know some of you out there, at least on my page, are like, oh, cucumbers. First, cucumbers, and then second, on a pizza? No, thank you.
With cauliflower
But
crust.
it was delicious. I guarantee you would love it.
Yeah.
So.
That's so cool.
It is, though. There's a learning curve there, because if you're only used to eating this way, right,
Yeah.
you do have a little bit
Yeah.
of a learning curve. But once you get over that hump,
Yeah.
it's like this whole other world opens up, and there's so many delicious things. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
my kids had spaghetti squash last night, and every time they have spaghetti squash, and we'll make it several different ways, right?
Mhm.
They are like over the moon excited. Oh, we're having squash tonight,
Yep.
and
Yep.
they don't even so sometimes it's just like getting over that hump, but anybody can do it.
Well, our hump lasted 10 days. Actually, it was less than that, because it felt like in the first week, my taste buds had changed.
Yep.
And it actually could taste the vegetables and the good flavor that was coming from them normally, where I didn't have to add a bunch of seasonings or like sugar on some things.
Yeah.
It was I came to realize that I didn't need all of that for the flavor. And then when I did go back to try it, like after a year, I went back to having a hot chocolate, and my body just rejected it. My heart started racing.
Yep.
It was a hot chocolate.
Yeah.
And my heart started racing, and I could only drink like a quarter of it, and I said, oh my gosh,
Wow.
who would have known that all of that sugar, which I didn't even pay attention to,
Sure.
and I usually put extra creamers and stuff in there for flavor, was having such an impact on my body. And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing that the body tells us what's going on if we'll listen to it.
Yep.
but most of us don't listen.
It's interpretation, right? I mean, 100 years ago, medical doctors in this country knew how to help someone understand that if you have chronic, recurrent, non-resolving ulcers, that your pituitary is magnesium deficient, right?
Yes.
Or manganese deficient, excuse me. So it's manganese deficiency of the pituitary, and that's why this won't heal up. And today's modern medicine suggests, oh, well, you must have some form of a chemical deficiency, or you need a drug, right? You have some kind of drug deficiency that'll correct that, and it never corrects it. And years ago, it's just been the recent last couple of generations of medical doctors that it's been trained out of them to help their patients understand and interpret properly, what is this body trying to tell me?
Right.
What conditions or circumstances have I created, diet, lifestyle, or stress, that is not allowing it to perform optimally by design?
Yes.
Yeah.
These bodies were not created to stay sick all the time, and they certainly weren't created to perform optimally on artificial therapy, which is drugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's food and food substances and whole foods and herbs and vegetables, and that's what allows this body to perform optimally. And when you take that away and then throw the stress of modern living on top of that, it's a recipe for disaster. We have $3.4 or $3.5 trillion a year spent in this country alone for the treatment and the management of chronic disease,
Yes.
not to restore health.
Yes.
And $1 out of every $4 of that $3+ trillion annually is for type 2 diabetes, which is one of the number one most correctable conditions in the human body. Go to the videos on this particular channel and look up Jan Mason's story. It's absolutely amazing. And she did it in her
It's actually
70s.
the
Yeah.
first featured video
It's
on
the
our
featured
page.
video on our page because
Yeah.
people understand you don't have an insulin deficiency that comes
Right.
out of a syringe or swallowing metformin, right? It's just
Yes.
crazy. And yet we're spending trillions, not billions,
Yeah.
trillions with a T on disease management, and nobody's getting well.
Yes. Well, what I learned was that when I went to the health professionals, they actually studied disease, the
Yep.
pathology of disease.
Yep.
And I decided that I needed, in order to get the different results that I actually wanted, I needed to study health.
Yep.
And so that's why I became a health professional in this aspect on the holistic side, because if I wanted health, I needed to know what health looked like and how you got it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we were able to help our family heal our bodies naturally.
But the number one thing was you changed the diet.
Yes.
The number one thing, you changed the fuel.
Yeah. Which meant we had to change this too.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Stinking thinking.
Yeah, yeah. And so that was probably one of the biggest challenges.
So now you're a massage therapist. You went through Trinity, some of Trinity stuff as
Yes.
well.
Mhm.
For CNHP or CH?
Actually,
which one is it?
I didn't finish any of them.
Okay.
Yeah, because I kind of went into more of the mindset side of things.
Sure.
Because I
That's
actually,
wise.
I found that so many people were coming in with all these boxes of prescriptions and everything, is I really needed to help them with their emotions and their spiritual side too. And so I started working on the mindset as well
Yeah.
as the diet. And when I combined the two of those, that's what really made the difference.
Yep.
And so that's why I said, okay, well, I'm good. I have lots of education, wisdom, experience, knowledge in the nutrition side. Now I'm going to go into this, which I'd been studying since I was 13 anyway, and it worked for me. So I thought, well, it could probably work for other people too, because I'm not a genius. So
Yeah. So when is Midland going to be blessed with the grand reopening? You have a date?
Midland, December 16th.
Yay!
So all of you Midland folk, or everybody in the Great Lakes Bay region, come on out December 16th. Keep an eye on the Facebook page because we are going to be posting our open house and all of that. And I will have some of those healthy, delicious snacks for you.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
That's
Yes.
awesome. So you're going to focus on nutritional therapy. What else are you going to offer? What are some of the additional things you might be offering there?
So that's going to be our foundation, because for me that was our foundation in our family and our life, and it remains the foundation of it.
Sure.
In addition to God, and so when we have the foundation and the pillars right, then we can build on top of that.
100%.
And so on top of those pillars and foundation, we will have some detoxifying equipment there. So one is called a whole body vibration therapy. And so if you like a rebounder, you'll love the whole body vibration, because it's like 10 times more efficient even.
We'll talk
And-
more later.
Oh, okay. I love rebounders. I have two at home.
Yeah, they're great.
And also some far infrared, but I don't want to get too far away from the nutrition side because that's where people struggle the most. And so we'll have some add-ons or by the ways, as you call them.
Yeah.
And but the main focus is going to be helping people understand what you put inside of you matters.
Yeah.
And if you have a skin condition, it's because you have an outward sign of an inward problem
100%.
or challenge.
100%.
And that's not anything that you can't help your body to heal from. And so we want to help you to do that.
That's awesome.
Yes. Needs nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we learn to eat to live rather than live to eat.
Yes.
That is so important.
Yes.
Is that the title of maybe a book?
Perhaps it is.
You spoke it, so I'm just curious.
Well, not mine. There's a book called that.
Oh, is there a book
Yeah,
already?
there is
Oh, I
already.
thought maybe you might be ready to write one.
No, I'm writing The Hope Cure.
Oh, I love that. That's the name of your book?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yeah. The first one that I wrote was called 10 Secrets to Lifelong Happiness.
Okay.
And that's out, so if you guys want it, PM me and we'll talk about that.
Awesome.
But otherwise, The Hope Cure, because what I found for, in our family, we needed hope.
Yeah.
Because
That is so true.
the medical people that I love
Yes.
very much,
So
and I
true.
appreciate what they do and their perspective, but it didn't work for
Mhm.
us.
Mhm.
And we were looking for hope. And so many of our clients that I've worked with over the last almost 20 years are simply looking for hope.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me that I can get over this, that I can heal from this?
Mhm.
And we say, yes, there's
Yeah.
hope. There's always hope.
Always hope. Yeah.
And we want to help them with that.
That's so,
That's so
smart.
true.
Yeah.
I know when we have people come in for our orientation or introductory class, when they come in without hope and leave with hope.
Yep. And they haven't even
that
started
is-
yet.
And they haven't even started a program.
smile on their
Art,
face.
your wife
It just
last night?
warms my heart
Yes.
so
Mhm.
much because I'm like, yes.
You would have been almost in tears last night.
Yeah.
Probably I
It
would have
was a
cried.
very
It was
because that's what
beautiful.
Becca does.
It was just such a positive energy,
Yeah.
and it was received well. And you could tell by some of the people's faces, like Wendy was sitting in the kind of the back of the room, but there's 7 or 8 other people right here,
Yeah.
and I could tell as the conversation continued going on and touching on what she's mentioning about hope, this one gal's face turned from one of I really don't understand this to it doesn't matter if I understand it. I think I'm gonna like this, you know.
Yeah.
And
She
so
was
they
actually
leave-
telling me that this morning.
it's
Yeah.
so amazing,
Yeah.
so amazing. So
That's so great.
Yeah, it was beautiful to watch it.
yeah,
You know?
you feel the
Usually-
energy transform.
Yeah, exactly.
After about 20 minutes or so, they start they start
Yes.
realizing. Here's what happens spiritually. They start realizing I'm hearing truth,
Yes, exactly.
and it's what my inside was yearning for all along, and I didn't know it existed.
Yes.
But I believed in my heart of hearts that it does exist somewhere. I just haven't found it yet.
That's right.
And they feel like maybe they found it. It's
Yeah.
just so cool.
Yeah, and that's the hope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, there's the hope and the truth.
Yeah. So December 16th, you're gonna kick things into high gear.
Yes, we sure are.
Gosh, I wonder what a shuttle on a plane would be to.
Yeah,
for a
right.
day. We'll
It's
let,
not
we'll
a
let
lot.
Brain figure
We'll
that
try
one
and
out.
figure out that.
Yeah, that's a little short notice. I know.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yes.
We're all about do it right now. So
Yeah, so it's going to be exciting, and I've got former clients and people who've been on our email list for a long time, and so they're really getting excited about it. So tell all your friends,
yes.
and don't forget to share all of that and share this video
Mhm.
and let them hear our stories
Yeah.
about this hope for healing.
Yeah. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Any other thing else that we should cover?
Anything
I think
else
we're
you
good.
want to share?
Anybody on our page, be sure and let everyone whoever you know in Michigan.
Yes.
This is coming to
Midland,
town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
that's
And
awesome.
I suppose, if people wanted to get started on what we have, because our website's just getting built,
Mhm.
but it's vibranthealthwellnesscenter.com. Or no, that's my old one. I've retitled it vibranthealthnutritioncenter.com. And then if you want to drop me a note in there, then I'd love to respond back to you. And if you have any questions or anything, I'd love
That's
to
so
answer
cool.
them.
Or if you want to be notified when the open house is going to
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, it's on there.
Oh, it's already on there.
Yeah, it's already on
Wow.
the page. So
Well, then you gotta go there.
She's moving fast.
I
yes,
know.
no
We're
time.
excited.
People need
That's
us.
awesome.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yep, and we
Yes.
need
There needs to
people.
be more of us out there doing this work. You know,
Yes.
you've got someone close by. Well, kind of close by, Carol.
Mhm.
Carol's been
Yes.
a couple hours, maybe.
Yeah, a couple
something
hours.
like that. So
in
yeah,
Ludington.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ludington. So
Yes,
That's
hey,
cool.
Carol.
yeah, Carol. Hi. So
yeah. And I've
yeah.
got some friends who are naturopaths watching now,
Awesome.
and I think my let's see, I don't know if my chiropractor friend was on there or not, but they are wonderful, and because
Yeah.
they understand the value of nutrition
yeah.
side of, I mean,
They
that's why they're in the business they're in,
Yep.
and so we can heal our bodies. It's a miraculous self-healing body.
Mhm.
And you know the thing is too is that when we treat it as a whole, like we were
Yes.
talking about this with the system surveys, like there's 224 different questions there, and unfortunately, the communities, the citizens in this country have been educated into thinking that that's a standalone illness that needs a standalone specialist with a standalone prescription and a
Right.
standalone series of procedures, right?
Mhm.
And it's not.
Right.
You can have over 250 different unrelated symptoms from liver stress.
Yeah, one thing.
Or pituitary stress and completely blowing out digestion and hormones and immune system, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing can have this domino effect into so many others. And so
That's right.
this approach doesn't chase down and put people on this merry-go-round of treating symptoms. It actually identifies what's the cause of the body and its inability to perform, correct that, and guess what? Symptoms just tend to melt away,
Yes,
go away, diminish,
Exactly.
disappear.
You gotta go below the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we
So
were
it's
just talking
holistic.
at lunch about scars
Yeah.
and how that's been a really big
Yes.
thing for you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And even
Scars.
though you've been working on your health for how many years?
Oh gosh.
And
40.
didn't even know until recently that scars was something that was really one of your challenging areas that was
Yeah.
causing stress
Yeah.
on your body.
And I think this is good for
Mm-hmm.
people to know because when somebody hears that I got sick, they're like, "Whoa!" Then I don't want. What's the point? Because I do so many good things,
Mhm.
and for me to have Hashimoto's,
Yeah.
they're like, "Well, then they just throw their hands up in the air because
Yeah.
I do a lot of really good healthy things."
They feel
I
like it's
eat
not
healthy.
worth trying.
And they're like, "Yeah, why would I want to do that if
Yep.
if you still got sick?" Well, there's a lot of different reasons why I got sick.
Yep.
And if I hadn't been doing those things, I would have been way sicker way sooner.
100%. We got a lady that's coming here. She followed my father since 1998. She's in her late 70s. She looks like she's maybe 50,
Wow.
and she was also diagnosed with some breast cancer issues. But she's followed through the cleanses. She says, "I feel great." I says, "You imagine my surprise that I was given this diagnosis,
Yeah.
and I followed your father's advice for over 20 years. I feel like $1 million." I said, "You look like $1 million. She's performing well, but you
Yeah.
know what? We still live on the same planet Earth as everybody else, exposed to the same environmental and chemical stressors
Absolutely.
and food, air, water, and food pollutants and things like that can build up and suppress the immune system. So we're not bulletproof.
Right.
We're not bulletproof.
Exactly.
But on a day-to-day basis, from a financial, a spiritual, a behavioral, a physically performance manner, we
Yes.
outperform most everybody
Right.
most of the time.
Yes.
So that's worth it.
Yeah.
That is worth it.
Yeah, because I'm 72,
Yeah.
and so you'd never know that.
Right.
Well, okay, maybe.
Right.
I wasn't gonna say a word. I'm gonna let her walk out of that one.
Okay, well, let's just say I'm in my 50s, and that is the truth. That's
Yes.
we'll leave it at that.
And you look amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This one
I'm
looks
in good
16.
company. I know.
I know.
I know. She has
What
2
is-
kids, and
we-
I'm like, where
we're
did
like-
you come from?
Yeah. When did that happen?
Right. She's too young for that.
Yeah. We need to be doing what she's doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that is the other point of it too, is that each of us help each other, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Mhm.
we sometimes as practitioners, we feel like we're out here by ourselves, we're the lone, and there's no one else is doing this, which is kind of what I talked about this morning in the wholesale group for Marco
Yes.
Polo. We need to be locking arms, like,
Yes.
I just love that when Becca said that in Chicago, and the way she said it, I'm like, wow, that's powerful. As practitioners, we don't need to be talking about, this program's better than that one, or, my
Or
chiropractor.
this modality is better than that modality.
Exactly.
Right.
We need to lock arms and help people become more aware and turn this $3 trillion worth of debt expense that's getting very little to no results.
Yes.
We need to turn that around. We need to put that
Yes.
money back in people's pocket
Yes.
and
exactly.
redirect it through their mindset that they can actually be well, and then cut that
Yes.
down to about what it should be,
Mhm.
which is about maybe 20 to 25% of that national expense should be there for emergency medical
Yes,
and for life-saving procedures.
I
And
agree.
that's it. From there on, we know how to take care of ourselves. We're
Yes.
just not aware of it yet.
Let's give people back the money so they can invest in good food.
Yep.
And nutrition
Yep.
and
And
exercise
taking care of themselves.
and yes,
Yeah.
and not having to work their tails off every day 24/7 because they're trying to cover medical expenses.
Yeah.
Is that the top
Or keep
or
up with
one
the
of the
rat
top
race.
reasons for bankruptcy?
Medical?
Yeah,
It's number one
number one.
in this country.
So if we could give people their money back, which is
Yep.
what we're doing,
Exactly.
because we're giving them something that would normally cost them an office visit with a copay of an
Yes.
office visit
That's right.
with a medical doctor.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
huge. So
Mhm.
everybody can afford it.
Yep.
Yes.
No, there's no excuse. One of the things I said in that class last night, I don't know if this hits you like it. I love sharing with people because it's kind of like my way of getting a dig in if they're not ready, but it gets them there faster.
Yes.
The health you have is not you're not responsible. It's not your fault because you didn't know any better.
Right.
But now that you do know better and you choose to do nothing about it, that is your fault. You
That's
got no
right.
one else to blame.
Yes.
That is just the truth. It's not about being snarky or trying to get a rise out of somebody or poking the bear. It's about this is just the truth. You're an adult. Take responsibility for it. Quit blaming mom and dad or genetics or whatever, and get educated.
Or the broken food system.
Or the broken
Right.
food system.
Yes, because there are options.
Teresa mentioned something here about her husband's challenges with scars. Did we mention what we use for scars so she knows?
We didn't.
Yeah.
No, wheat germ
Tell
oil.
him. Yeah, tell him.
Wheat germ oil, and if you have a sensitivity to that, you can use sesame seed oil as well.
Just massage it topically for a couple of minutes every day for 60 to 90 days. It can have transformative effects on how your body can perform just by handling the scars.
Yes, we should also add cold laser therapy helps
Mhm.
with the scars. We do that in office, in the various offices. But be careful just running out and buying any wheat germ oil or sesame seed oil because
Yeah.
you always want to make sure it's a good source of quality.
Yeah.
We also, out of our offices, do little pearls that you can pop, each day that you use one. Because if you buy it in the liquid form and you open it up, it goes rancid
Yes.
Pretty quick.
Yes. Yeah, so we're going to have those. You guys have those, and because of you, I'm going to have those as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
So,
100%.
yeah,
So,
so we'll be able to offer people what they need at an affordable price.
yes.
And that's what
That's
they
awesome.
want.
Yep.
Healthy and
Yep.
happy
Healthy and
and
happy.
saving money.
Results.
Yes.
Results, affordability, and accessibility.
Oh, exactly.
And that's how you get real hope back in families.
That's right.
And when you win moms over, you practitioners pay attention.
Yes,
These
Bring the rest
ladies
of the family.
bring the next generation.
that's right.
So you fathers, support this. You don't have to take the lead. Let the women take the lead, right? Because they are the dominant of the species, just so you know. But they will take the lead. They'll raise the next generation up in the way they should go.
Yes.
You support that, fathers, okay, uncles, grandpas. Support those efforts so that you can change the outcome of health for the next generation, the generation after that. That's the only way you're going to get
Because
it back.
it's only going to become more and more challenging for each
Yep.
generation because our world is more and more toxic, and
Correct.
kids are born more and more toxic.
Yes, because what we're doing to our bodies is actually affecting our genes.
100%.
Yep.
Dr. Francis Pottinger.
We talked about it last week,
Pottinger's
actually.
cats.
Yeah, about how the DNA. is-
DNA expression by third generation was completely transformed from one of loving, caring, no behavioral issues,
Yes.
no hormonal problems, no rheumatoid arthritic conditions, none of the degenerative illnesses that we see rampant in this country today.
Yeah.
100% based on generation after generation consumption of poor quality food. Soil quality's gone down to nothing. Now GMOs on top of it with
That's right.
processing and nuking and all this other stuff because it's a filler. It's not fuel. It's filler.
That's right.
Big difference.
There's a huge
You consume
difference.
that over time, you do change genetic expression. Dr. Pottinger proved it. His science is very sound. It's been valid for 70 years.
Yes, and
So-
we want healthy DNA to pass on,
Yes.
which we can change, right?
Yes, you can.
So that's
You
the
can
good
change the
news.
expression
we
of the
can
future.
change the way it is.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have
So-
to keep what we got
Yes.
That's right.
So true.
unless we like it.
Wendy, we're so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm so
What a
happy to be here.
collaboration.
This has been such a joy for me. Not just this, but being here with the two of you. You guys are amazing human beings, and I
Aw.
appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
This is just going to help me to help my clients and family and friends and people
Yep.
that I love and care about, which is everybody, by the way.
Yep.
To help them that much better.
Yeah.
And so thank you for the everything that I'm getting here. and the training has been it's just impeccable.
Yeah.
So you guys are
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your kind words.
Yes,
we
we appreciate
appreciate
that.
that.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
easy when it's true.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us right here in Cheyenne and the surrounding area for Country Doctor Nutritional Center and on Wendy's page.
Bye.
Yes.
Hi. Thank you for
See you
joining us.
guys soon.
And tune into this episode being dropped in Total Wellness Radio real soon. You guys
Thanks,
have a blessed
guys.
have a
wonderful
blessed day.
Bye.